8,000 hours. So, okay, we got teams coming out.
8,000 hours, that's a lot of Dota, and this is the team from Turkmenistan coming on stage right now.
Yep.
Crowd that's here is already happy to see them, obviously.
Yeah, crowd's filling up a little bit as well. We got plenty of people here to watch the home team play, and
yeah, it's still a little bit early, so.
Yeah, it is a little bit early.
There's still some seats left. I guess.
We were up very early this morning
yeah.
to get out here and get set up and ready to go, but you know, plenty of Dota all day to keep us awake and energized. And here we go, Team China B.
Indeed, it is. Gonna be their first round opponents here on the main stage. Here in Ashgabat's 5th Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Games. I assume their hopes are as high as the one from any other team here, or any other player in general, competing in the other esports as well.
Yeah, they've got people across, I think, every game. So, plenty of opportunities for them here. All right. Looks like we should be getting underway shortly with the draft.
Everyone getting the seats, getting ready, getting into the zone, as I like to call it as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, so if this was a meta draft, what is the one hero that you expect to see in every single game?
I think Earthshaker. I think Earthshaker's got to be defining hero of the most recent TI in a lot of ways. He's been seeing tons of play in pubs as well. I think even in the micro balance patch that we had not too long ago, there was a little bit of an Earthshaker nerf in there, but still hasn't really affected the hero too much. So I think he's definitely up there. In terms of other pub terrors, you've got Necrophos, Lich, Venomancer as well, probably going to be reasonably popular. But like we were saying, it's been a little bit difficult to scout these teams. It's been difficult for us. It should be difficult for the other teams as well. So could really see anything in this event.
Yeah. Well, Earthshaker is certainly a fun hero to watch. Like,
yeah, can make some big plays.
It's very effective too. Just having this long range initiation and eventually the blink, hopefully.
Yeah, it turns out a hero with 3 stuns is pretty good.
Yeah.
So there's always
stuns win the games sometimes.
Yep.
In Dota.
Can be the case.
Yeah. So if you don't know what to pick Earthshaker. I guess that's what it comes down to. But again, we have no idea exactly what to expect.
All right, so got some player introductions going on here. A little bit of a.
I would try and pronounce the names, but I'm afraid to mess them up and do them injustice.
Yeah, well, I'm interested to see what their in-game tags are as well. Looks like we potentially don't have them on the overlays, but so what else? We've got one team who's basically not traveled at all to get here versus a couple of teams that have had a pretty long journey to make their way here to Turkmenistan, to beautiful Ashgabat for the games.
I wonder how long they've been here, whether they've had some time to prepare and to just acclimate.
I know that at least the team from the Philippines, they arrived on the same plane as me from Dubai, so that was at least a day and a half ago. I think they've had at least a little bit of time to kind of rest and relax. Like we were saying, the Olympic Village is very, very nice. I'm sure the players are being very well taken care of while they're here for their stay.
Well, hopefully they found a hotel in time instead of you just having an adventure.
Yeah, I got a little bit lost, but you know, like I said, it's actually the Olympic Village is really nice, so it wasn't
nice
that
to get
bad.
Lost in, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that bad to have a little look around and check out some of the other venues. Even though I did still have my luggage with me, that was a little bit unfortunate. But you know, what can you do?
Well,
okay.
On the flight here, we were actually having a stop in Baku in Azerbaijan. And we almost lost Gareth there. We were on the same plane.
It was close.
Yeah. He was asleep the whole time, so he actually got off the plane. But he got back on, unfortunately. He'll be casting the second series later today. There's the Chinese players now, so yeah, obviously Chinese Taipei here.
I'm not.
Like it's hard to really gauge what we can expect from these teams. even though we know China, it's a great place for Dota, right?
Yeah.
At least on the highest level, and I assume on even the lower levels right now as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. China as a Dota playing nation is probably the most structured of any scene. They've got a lot of low-level in-house leagues that people play in. There's various ladders. There's lots of opportunities for up-and-coming players to really get noticed, get a shot. It was the case a couple of years ago, maybe, that the Chinese scene was very much dominated by the old guard. People have been playing for a very long time, and they were just kind of shuffling internally. But there's recently been a move in China and sort of the world over to incorporate more new, younger players with less experience, sort of give them some guidance with more experienced players on the team. And you never know, some of the players that we're seeing here could go on to even make strides towards TI or even some big lands. So
yeah, I mean, some of the old guard might be getting too old. Like, not want to throw any shade, but yeah, it is a very demanding game, and at some point it's getting harder and harder for you to compete at the highest level, especially with these new young people coming in. And yeah, especially in the Western scene as well, we've seen it time and time again that the most successful teams have a mix of newer players, new, fresh talents, and the old experienced players. Like, look no further than Team Liquid, right? You have Kuroki, who's been in the scene forever. Then you have a player like Miracle, right? Mind Control and Matuma Man, even, they're also pretty fresh. They have this talent, they have this drive as well that reinvigorates the whole unit.
Even GH, who you haven't mentioned, he's basically been playing competitive Dota for a year now, and he's already won TI. So
God, I remember casting him when he was back on ELAB. There was like a team that would be playing in like Go for Dota 2 caps for like 250 euros a week or something. And then next thing you know, he's competing at the biggest stage in the world of Dota. Yeah.
And now we see Dota making new inroads onto new stages. We've got the sort of the Olympic opportunity here. I just want to say, this guy's keyboard and mouse setup is actually ridiculous. He's got the illuminated mouse pad. This guy's not too shabby either.
Gotta have that bling, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's your gear. That's your equipment. It's got to be serious.
Your tools, right? Yeah, you broke them in like. You've worked with them like your whole career, essentially. Like, this is where you're most comfortable, and this is one of the most important parts about Dota as well. Just be comfortable with where you are, with what you're playing with, because any sort of extra like concern that you have about these periphery questions, they just detract from your ability to focus and concentrate on the game. But yeah, picking sides now. And China, looks like they chose first pick, and Turkmenistan chose the Radiant side, getting ready to go here for game number 1. It's the best of 2 series.
So it looks like we are playing on a local server. I was wondering about that a little bit, whether or not we're going to be playing on one of the online servers, or if the game was going to be hosted locally. So I suppose that means we're only going out on the stream. No opportunity for anyone, unfortunately, at home to open up the client and be able to watch, but it is what it is, and looks like we should be able to get ourselves underway with the draft in just a few moments here.
Loading in right now, and indeed, it is time. Turkmenistan versus China. Team B is attacked up here in game. Very first game here on stage for the esports portion of the Asian Indoor and Martial Arts Games. 5th installment of this particular tournament. But the first time with esports, and I could not be more excited again. First band's coming out, the Night Stalk. All right, that's one of the meta heroes. Take it away immediately. What if we would see a Coddle then just in the back of that?
It could be an option. I mean, it'll be really interesting, especially with only 5 teams competing in this event, to see how the meta develops. That's always the nature of these LAN events, that compared to sort of the online scene where every team isn't necessarily watching every single match. When you have a tournament like this where everybody's in person, you know that the other teams are going to be at least watching the replays. They're going to be scouting as much as they possibly can, and if one team pulls out a strategy here and really manages to get things going, then you could see other teams follow suit, or we could see opportunities to counter. That Coddle ban that you were talking about does end up coming out, so Nyx Assassin also going to be removed from the pool, and trying to be, what are they going to opt for here? So what?
Still plenty of heroes left. It's going to be the Batrider. All right. That's an all-time favorite. Like, was there ever a meta where the Batrider was not popular?
Yeah, I mean, Batrider has been nerfed year after year after year, and he's still getting played. So, not too surprising to see him here. That Earthshaker that I was talking about, or that we were talking about before the game started, hasn't really been looked at, and now we're going to have Team Turkmenistan picking up Ogre and a bad.
Oh
okay.
Yeah. Alright, this is decidedly not meta. The OD as well, so not heroes that it's not like that we don't see them at all, but it's rather rare.
Yeah,
like in response to the Batrider, I would have expected like a Nyx Assassin, just like the textbook counter. But Ogre Magi Abaddon, especially if that's a core Abaddon,
10 seconds remaining.
Together with the Bloodlust, like how potent could that be potentially?
Yeah, I mean they've got definitely some setup here for some kind of big right-click hero. Even if you're running a bad in the offlane, you can talk about the Curse of Avernus helping out with some of your other cores. You've got the Bloodlust as well, so definitely relatively 5-man oriented from them. The Abaddon, of course, not too bad against the Batrider, but it can be a little bit difficult to get a shield off once the Batrider has his Blink Force Staff. You kind of drag somebody away before you even get the opportunity to complete your cast and counter that. So that's something to look out for this game. The OD pickup is interesting, definitely a really good hero against the Baden in general, being able to imprison him during his ultimate to waste a lot of the duration there. And then also you can just use him as a source of stacks for your Arcane Orbs. So definitely something to watch out for if you're the Abaddon in this game, that you're not giving away too much int and then having your entire team get blown up by a single Sanity's Eclipse.
It's also free mana for Batrider, isn't it? With the Essence Aura, to spam the Napalm.
Yeah, that's something that we could see. We could actually see, it hasn't been as popular recently, but there was a time where people were running Batrider as a position 4, just running towards the mid lane, throwing out some sticky Napalm, really just forcing attention there. And like you're saying, when you've got the aura as well from the OD, actually makes it very easy for the Batrider to do exactly that. So it could be something to look out for here. And like we're saying, OD probably going to be playing mid, Batrider more than likely off lane, but also that position 4 potential. The Ogre opens up some interesting options for Team Turkmenistan here, in that they can kind of grab one of the greedier position 5, position 4 heroes. We could see something like a Warlock come out if they're really interested in 5-manning. You also sometimes see something like a Phoenix, a hero that is like a ranged safe lane support, but does scale really well with farm. And I feel like that's where Ogre really shines, because he's, as much as he can move around and roam the map like a position 4, he is still kind of a position 5 overall, in that he doesn't really need that many items to really succeed. So that does give them some opportunities in the draft, but trying to be a little bit worried about this 5-man death ball strategy from Turkmenistan. So they're just going to be getting rid of Viper, who could kind of lead the charge on these towers, and they're also going to be getting rid of the Necrophos, who's great for push sustain and really keeping these 5-man death ball lineups going.
Like any sort of mass heal strat is potentially devastating. I've seen that played before, and it's like, alright, you do damage, it gets healed up immediately. Even if you burst someone down, the next guys just throw out heals themselves. Necrophos would fit into that. Abaddon to some degree as well, and then you'd have, of course, heroes like Omni-Knight Dazzle, which knocked all of these standard ones. But not going to see that this time. Turkmenistan, they pick up the Combo Breaker, the big old silencer. Again, a hero that's versatile in terms of where you lane him. Could be support, could be a mid hero even. So I really like the drafting strategy so far, even though it's a little bit unconventional with the Ogre first.
Yeah, the picks are a little bit unusual, but the overall style of keeping your heroes ambiguous and leaving yourself options later on into the draft is definitely not uncommon at all, and definitely a smart way to approach it. Makes it more difficult for Team China B to make their decisions about what they're going to be running and how they're going to set their lanes. They will probably just grab a support here, try and keep their cards close to their chest a little bit, and try and fish for a little bit more information from Team Turkmenistan, but I guess we'll have to see. Yes, they will just grab themselves a Bloodseeker.
That is not a support in most games.
No, interesting that they pick up the Bloodseeker here. It does have some synergy with Batrider. Not too bad against Silencer. You don't really mind as much if you're silenced, and definitely a good laning hero to have overall. So that could be something that they're looking at here, just trying to shore up their lanes. If this 5-man death ball lineup does get picked up by Turkmenistan, then they can kind of try and win the lanes and then keep them at bay that way. So that's definitely an opportunity.
Yeah. And so far, there's not a whole lot of control for the Bloodseeker. So if he runs at you, he's going to run at you, whether he's silenced or not. Like, the Arcane Curse is not really going to slow him down. The only thing they have right now is the Ogre Magi. And that stun can be really good if you get the multicast off, but obviously you cannot guarantee that. So I feel like Turkmenistan would do well to just pick up some more crowd control of some description.
Yeah, so heroes that we sometimes see against Bloodseeker, or one of the heroes that was very popular against Bloodseeker, is Bloodseeker's kind of risen in the meta, I think, has been Chaos Knight. I don't know if that's necessarily an amazing hero for them this game. Their lineup's already fairly melee heavy, so that could be a little bit difficult. And OD is decent at dealing with illusions, not really early on, but in the later stages of the game, he does become a bit more adept. But all right, it's actually just going to be a sniper, so sort of classic counter to the OD. Lanes pretty nicely against him. OD as a hero is actually generally pretty difficult to lane against on mid, but sniper is considered to be somewhat of a hard counter. So we'll see if China B try and rotate their lanes a little bit. Maybe they put the Bloodseeker mid, or just try and grab a position 4 that's going to be able to really put some pressure on this sniper, and that is going to be the Bounty Hunter. So it looks like not going to be the position for Batrider that we were speculating about, and just going to be the Bounty Hunter running at this sniper.
Makes a lot of sense. Like, as good as Sniper is against OD, as susceptible he is to the Bloodseeker as well. Because if you get ruptured, he starts running at you, and you can't play keep away anymore as a sniper, which is his whole game plan, basically the concept that hero is designed around. So if you can't stay away from the Bloodseeker, he's just going to punch your face in. And this is going to be an issue that Turkmenistan will have to watch out for. At the same time, though, they still have the Abaddon on the field, which could be this turnaround factor, right? Just extra bit of fields, extra bit of damage block can turn a sniper kill into a Bloodseeker kill just as easily, because that hero, especially for Blood Rages himself, he's extremely vulnerable to any sort of control, any sort of big damage burst, or even if he's just diving too deep, right? He can be punished.
Yeah, the Bounty Hunter here, I guess the one other thing to mention is that there is a little bit of a counter in the Abaddon, using the Aphotic Shield, being able to purge off track, though track is a pretty low cooldown, so it's still fairly easy to keep a couple of tracks up and still give your team that move speed benefit. And I'm still worried for Turkmenistan in the sense that they still don't really have all that much lockdown. The sniper hasn't really gone a long way to solving that issue. It could just end up being that their initiation is just turning up at towers with the Abaddon in the front, but that's going to require that they get out of the early game intact. Bounty Hunter's not really a great hero from behind, so that is potentially a worry for China. If they end up falling behind in the early game, the Bounty Hunter's not really going to accomplish all that much, and Turkmenistan could just kind of 5-man their way through the game. But I feel like if China B come out of the early game looking strong, then things are going to be tough for Turkmenistan. And these last 2 picks from China have been completely all about shutting down this sniper. They've got the Bounty Hunter to pressure in mid and find him in the fights. They've got the Clockwork and the Batrider to both initiate into the back lines. So I think it's going to be really difficult for Turkmenistan to keep their sniper alive.
Yeah. It's very much a guns facing forward kind of lineup, right? And yeah, there's the Bristleback. It's the very last pick for Turkmenistan. And again, not a lot of crowd control, but at the very least it's one of these frontliners. And again, you have a Baton. Probably, who's going to be the offlane? Is it going to be the Baton or the Bristleback? Yeah, like either way, you have the Ogre Magi to buff them up in terms of the carry potential later on.
Yeah, the Bristle is a good 5-man hero, but I really worry that he's not particularly good against OD. Bristle, very reliant on his spells, very reliant on being able to continuously sit in the fight and spam Cold Spray. And so against the Arcane Orb stealing the majority of his mana, not to mention the Sandy's Eclipse potentially burning a good portion of it as well, and the fact that he can be controlled by the Imprisonment, I'm not so sure about this Bristle pick. But like you're saying, it is a good hero to sit in the front lines, to really soak up some damage, to set things up for the sniper. So if they can get out of the early game intact, I think they might be okay, but we'll see. I think the Bounty Hunter and the Clockwork might have something to say about that.
It is a best of 2.
Prepare
This is
for
game
battle.
number 1. China B here on the Dice side, and they're up against the hometown favorite, Turkmenistan. Sniper leading the charge here. Do they want to invade? Do they have a smoke on anybody? Yeah, they have one on silence, and they're moving like they want to contest the boundary rune, and they could potentially scout out the Bloodseeker here.
So they did pick up a TP scroll on the silencer early on, but choosing not to TP out to plant wards, actually just going to be making their way up. We've already got some pretty deep moves from China, planting some wards over towards the mid lane. Not going to be blocking out the, not going to be blocking out the ancient camp there. But looks like this smoke rotation might be scouted out. They've got really weak disable to lead this off, so they are going to spot the Bloodseeker.
If you're all around the hero, maybe you don't need disable, you just need slows, mass shrapnels coming out, and this looks to be the first blood for Turkmenistan. Motek on the bristleback gets an extra gold in his pocket. GLH.
All right, we've got the post first blood. Good luck, have fun coming out. Both teams. Looks like it's going to be 2 bounty runes apiece. One thing that we didn't mention this game is that it's actually Batrider and Bounty Hunter as the 2 supports for China B. So a little bit unusual. You know, Batrider or Bounty, not really traditional position 5 heroes. But they are going to be playing it a little bit greedy, though I think it's kind of counterbalanced by the Clockwork being played in the offlane, since he doesn't really require that much farm.
Are we going to have a tri-lane mid here? Almost. I mean, Silence are working his way back, but yeah, for now it's just going to be a standard meta 2v2 mid. And it is, yeah, that bad one. We were talking about it earlier, so we're right on the money with this one. He's just doing that, spamming the sticky napalm. Sniper, gotta be very careful about this. Yeah, there it is. Disruption or imprisonment. Gonna be able to keep up the stacks. He's super slow already, but they need a little bit of extra damage, and with Yoga in front as well. Ready to go. They keep Sniper alive for now, but he's definitely not being the counter that he wants to be. Right.
Yeah, this is looking pretty tough for the Sniper. He's got 0 CS so far, so not really getting a whole lot of farm. The OD doing pretty well. 6 for 2. Up at top, we've got some hits being traded back and forth. The Bounty was trying to snipe the courier mid a little bit earlier, but it didn't really work out for him. Not looking like a great lane for the Abaddon either. Bloodseeker, very difficult to lane against, like we were saying during the draft. He's got his poor man shield. He's got the pretty much infinite sustain from the Blood Rage.
Oh, hold on, bottom lane, look at this. Silencer dropping almost down to what? That was the longest range right click I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that's 150 melee range for you.
Yeah. Not only that's reserved for the likes of Monkey King, but Clockwork making it happen here. And turning the bagel into a breadstick, as AC likes to say here, in terms of kill score for the Chinese side. A lot of people right on top of each other here. Mid continues to be an issue for the Sniper. There's only so much that the Dioga Magi can really do to actually zone out the Bad Rider without being a target themselves. So they're just going to have to leave them to their own devices.
Yeah, Ogre looking a little bit lost on the map right now. Just going to come grab this DD. We'll see what else he's able to accomplish. And down bottom, Clockwork still just kind of able to keep soaking experience. Oh.
Gonna go again? No, it's just creep. Oh god, yeah, just caught that one in time.
That, my friend, is why metal will never die.
Yeah, Bristle going down. This is not looking good. Clockwork getting off to a really good early start. He's going to be able to rotate very early on with the hook shot at level 6. We've also got up top some more damage being done to this Abaddon. I don't think he should go down. And they do have pressure on the clock. Looks like he should be falling here. One last auto attack will do it, and Motek going to pick up a second kill here.
Yeah, good wraparound play there from the Ogre. Last couple of body blocks just to put a finishing touches on that gank, and well, it's kind of stuff that you need. Just keep snowballing, and especially against heroes like Clockwork, you need to keep them down. Otherwise, if they got off to a good start, they can just take over the game. Quick level 6, there's a hook shot, you get another kill, and it just keeps going from there.
Yep, they're going on the Sniper on the mid lane here. Can they get the turnaround?
Stick shot's keeping him alive for the time being, and looks like that'll be enough. Shrapnel doing a lot of return damage here. Yeah. There's some region. Okay, just kills all over the map. This time it is Clockwork once again. This time he's finding another kill up in the silence. So just walking him down with a battery assault. Not a whole lot you can do, especially if you don't have boots yet, is there?
Yep, and that's part of the problem with their lineup. If they don't have these disables, they don't have any way to keep the Clockwork at bay. The Ogres had some nice rotations. I mean, in the right place at the right time over at mid lane. They did know that he was there, but the stun was at least enough to keep the Sniper alive. But Sniper still struggling quite a bit here on mid. He's only got 8 CS to his name compared to the 20 and 15 of the OD. So OD doing very well. Looks like not going to be going for a Midas build this game. I feel like Midas has fallen out of favor a little bit for OD recently. Most people just kind of going for Treads, Force Staff, Blink, Hurricane Pike, that kind of a build up. And I think that works just fine this game. They don't really, I think they have the better late game if it gets to that point. So I don't think they really have to build for it that heavily. They can just be ready to fight for their early towers and win the game that way.
Well, Bounty Hunter being a bit annoying here as Abaddon made his way to the side jungle. He does have the Quelling Blade to make it work. They're trying to go for the random dust, but Haolu here, Haolu, sorry, able to dodge that one out. He's doing a good job so far, isn't he? Level 3 already on his bounty.
Yeah, it's nice because they don't actually have they don't have a support up top. It's kind of the Bloodseeker laning by himself. It gives the bounty a lot of opportunities to go up there, soak some experience, maybe run a pull quickly, and then continue roaming around the map, doing whatever he wants. So pretty significant lead at 5 minutes for Team China B. They've got a 2K net worth advantage, and I would think probably pretty similar on the experience as well, as they are kind of dominating 2 lanes, and Clockwork even doing quite well on bottom compared to his counterpart, the Abaddon, over on top.
Yeah. And so where do you think this game is going to develop? Like, it's trying to be on the right track now to get to that point where we have the lasso, we have the hookshots online already now. So when do you expect them to start turning up the heat?
I don't even know if they necessarily need to make too many aggressive moves. I think they can just wait until Turkmenistan are forced to kind of come push some towers. They're going to go
try and fight.
Yeah,
once again, the silencer is the target. Is making a beeline for him. Caught in the cogs and the battery soul. We'll take here on the Bristleback as well as Yoga. They're trying to help out, but unable to really get close. So it's fairly effective combination here. A lot of damage from the Clockwork, just a little bit extra from the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah. And they're going to shrine up. They might even be able to go straight towards mid or back towards bottom. They've got the hookshot still ready. And I think Clockwork probably keen to get another kill going. Bounty just gonna live up to his name, go and snipe a couple of bounty runes off the other side of the map, and continue to build up this net worth and experience lead that China B have.
So is there anything that Turkmenistan here have to adjust? I mean, they've been kind of taken on the chin once again now. Bristleback in a bit of trouble. He only has the 1 point up in the passive, so not all that tanky. He is still doing it. Might even get a kill here onto the Bounty Hunter, but, well, he turns around in time. Even the rotation here from Shark. They still get the kill though, so China B getting what they came for.
Yeah, they get the kill and they get the bonus value of the Abaddon TPing down here. So Bloodseeker going to be completely free on the top lane. Turns this Ring of Aquila on. He's going to be shoving this tower as hard as he possibly can, and does have the next wave coming in as well. Sniper has been able to recover a little bit over at mid, but still his CS being completely dwarfed by the OD right now, and just. They can't really make any moves because they don't have any way to set anything up. They lack that initiation that we've been talking about. So I guess the only thing that they can do is maybe pick up a Vanguard on the Bristle and then try and 5-man a tier 1 or something along those lines. Because if the laning stage continues the way that it is, I feel like they're just going to get picked apart.
Abaddon, I believe he just picked something up, or is it just that poor, only sitting on 400 gold? There's not a whole lot to go on him, so ideally, if you're going for this 5-man strat, you'd be looking for a mech, but right now they're looking for kill on OD, but the turn-on plays there, Batrider, as well as the Bounty Hunter both. Nice little drag back there, and looks like Sniper will end up falling. Stick Charge is keeping him alive for now, and Batrider is the one dropping down to the towers. 4 heroes from Turkmenistan turn things around, and now the stun on the Bloodseeker.
Clockwork in the back
lines. Is pretty damn fast, Eruption in the back, and yeah, there it is. Clockwork coming in with a hookshot, sniping off 2. That's another one down, and Bloodseeker is not done yet. Atrix, last one standing, but not for long. China B looked for a second there like they would fall apart, but they get a good number of kills under the belt.
I mean, we saw a little bit of the turnaround potential of the Abaddon there. He TPs in, he gets the shield on the Sniper, he survives a little bit longer. The Batrider kind of overcommitting somewhat and does get brought down, but China B also turning up in numbers and do end up walking away with 4 kills. I don't believe that they had, they're still only level 5 on the Bounty Hunters, so good news for Turkmenistan. They didn't give away any track kills, but bad news is that they are still falling further behind on kills, further behind on net worth, and the Clockwork is actually now, after that double kill, more farmed than anybody on the Radiant side of the map. So they really have to just try and get these early game items and get the strategy rolling, because I think that's all they have to play for. They could play for late game with the sniper a little bit, but I think the initiation is just too strong from China B.
Well, Shark looks like they're going to get him inside the cogs. He should be able to play his way out of this one for the time being. Does have another Forex Shield. Doesn't get it off, though. Way too much burst.
Yeah,
Still
nice.
no track kill, but he's getting closer to that, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even 10 minutes yet, so he hasn't been able to buy the tome and pick up that level that he wants. Batrider does manage to grab his level 6 down bottom, quite a ways away from his Blink Dagger, but they're going to be giving him a dedicated lane. And like we were saying, this is the big benefit of having the Clockwork on your team. Oh, yeah. A little bit of pressure, but again, just this lack of initiation from Turkmenistan. Batrider just going to be able to walk himself out.
Yeah, it also looks like they're gonna not put a lot of demand on him in terms of initiation so far. He hasn't skilled the lasso, just went for the 2-2-2. They're giving him this lane, so they're putting all of this for now onto the Clockwork, so they can then give the extra resources to Batrider to get to where he needs to be, right? To get to that Blink Dagger, to get to these extra levels.
Yeah. We talked about the OD not buying Midas, but it's actually Clockwork who's going to be buying the Midas this game, though that ties into the idea that we've been talking about. He's going to be moving around a lot. He's not really going to be farming. It's not a hero that can flash farm particularly well, so the Midas is going to help him keep his levels up, keep his farm going, and keep him relevant as we move towards the mid to late stages of this game.
Middle lane, let's see something again here. OD going very aggressively. Sniper chipping away. Doesn't quite have the punch yet to really put the worry into China B here. Their hook shot will connect here. Max range on Yoga Magi. Not what they wanted though. Still pretty tanky target, even though he's on level 4, so he's also starting to fall behind a little bit.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Silencer Invis does scout out the Clockwork, so they're running over towards him, but once again, the question is, what can they really do? There's 2 tracked heroes running over, so they do kind of know what's going on, and China B just wasting a bit of their time as they do manage to take out that tier 1 tower over on the top side.
This time the Ogre Magi are isolated from most of the rest of his peers, so 3 heroes around and they will take him down, but Bristleback has something to say about that. A lot of burst damage though with the Shuriken just bouncing on the silencer. China B though, they're going for the orderly retreat. Bristleback unwilling to follow him up to the shrine, probably a wise decision.
Yeah, I think a smart retreat, and even Bloodseeker now going to be rotating towards mid as they look to grab this tier 1. It does fall pretty quickly. They do have a glyph available on the Radiant side.
Radiant structures are fortified.
And there's a dive bottom.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
What a dive indeed. Once again, Sansa going down first and Bristleback. Well, he's getting some help now. They get the stun over on the Batrider. It's not really a whole lot to go on with max level Ignite middle lane as well. Look at the Bloodseeker. He's behind enemy lines at this point.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to boil it down too much, but it feels like we talked about it when we talked about the Earthshaker. Stuns win games.
Hook shot here to his friend to get close to the Ogre Magi. And the poor level 5 support gets torn down again.
They're just getting run over at this point. And they are trying to group up a little bit, playing together on the mid lane. Probably going to look for this tier 1 tower, but looks like OD going to be holding on to that pretty much just by himself as the rest of the team takes out this bottom tier 1. So huge map control advantage in favor of China B.
And that's the thing, I mean, a lot of this action has really happened without the OD really doing too much. They almost burst down a bounty on the long range. But yeah, China B, they haven't really, it felt like they didn't really have to commit all 5 heroes all that much in general. Like, Bloodseeker now starting to run around, but OD is still happily farming. And all they need is like 2 or 3 heroes to get these kills and get out scot-free. Once again, it comes down to lack of control on the side of Turkmenistan. And now, once again, poor Ogre plops down the ward to see them coming, but he might still die first. He's tracked up, bursted down. Shark coming through here. Gonna try and help out one of his teams. Meanwhile, the OD just drops the hammer on Sniper, and Imprisonment will finish him off. Straight TP out, nothing to cancel it. The courier though, okay, that was a Shadow Blade on it, as well as Treads. That was a costly snipe there. Shadowblade for the Bloodseeker, Treads for the OD, it looks like.
Yeah, this was a little bit of a deep dive, but like we saw, OD knew that Ogre was already dead. He's the only stun on the team, other than the sniper with the Assassinate, which does have a little bit of a stun there, but still get in, get the kill, get out. Nice for Turkmenistan to pick up that courier kill, and it is going to help to mitigate the net worth advantage a little bit, since a lot of that gold is now just trapped on the courier for the next few minutes, but still not really the turnaround that they need to start dragging this game back. They do have some really nice vision around the middle portion of the map, so they at least have some good information about the movements that China B are making, but whether or not they can actually find some kind of opportunity there is really going to depend on getting some items and even getting some more levels. We're 14 minutes in, and the Silencer had such a difficult time bottom lane that he's only level 5. They don't have the global.
Well, this might help you finally to get the dust off on the Bounty Hunter. Tracking him down, the slows are stacking up. This will be a nice little pinata pop. Artrix taking it with damage over time. Some extra gold for him.
And that's the benefit of having those wards. They knew where the Bounty Hunter was going to be playing and able to deal with him nicely. OD with a haste running through.
He wants some blood here, gets imprisonment, sees a few more heroes than he really wants. And scoots right on out of there again.
I like the itemization from the Bloodseeker as well, going for the Shadowblade. Not an item that we necessarily see that much on Bloodseeker, but I think it's just kind of playing into wanting to find the sniper in the back lines, being able to move around, find some solo kills on the supports potentially. And I think that's really the big idea. It's just going to be going for an SNY after that, so fairly common pickup. And Turkmenistan, I mean, even with all of their vision, just kind of lingering around the mid lane right now, doing their best to protect this sniper. And the sniper looked like it was going to be a decent pick from the draft, like we were saying, pretty common counter to the OD, but with the way that China B set their lanes, they really set themselves up for success. And I feel like in a lot of ways they just won all 3 lanes, and that was even without the Bounty Hunter rotating bottom. He was only playing top and mid pretty much this entire game. We do have a smoke coming in.
5-man smoke, almost desperation smoke, you could call it. 14k behind as they are, but looking to try and find somebody. And if it's the OD here, it's going to give a nice little gold bounty, to say the least. Looks like he's fast enough. Like you need to lead with the Ogre. And try and get the stun off. And then just
he's used his Force Staff, though. No.
Yeah, right. Sees him coming in time, and yeah, should be fine. So that's a lot of time wasted. Meanwhile, China B just farming, pushing down the bottom lane. Bloodseeker. Couriers respawn now, so they'll be able to pick up the Shadowblade soon. Oh god, there it is. The Blink Lasso on the Rupture as well. Here's that combo. Ogre Magi, the target. Just punching back, and it is the hook shot. Looking for the Cogs pushback, and that is now Multic in a whole lot of hope. But he's gotten tanky. He has the max passive. Might even be able to turn us around. 3 heroes dropping lower and lower and lower, but he has no support. No one there to finish the job.
They played that so well, juggling the tower aggro. Batrider just barely getting out on a sliver of HP. And over at mid, well, OD looking for more solo kills.
That is cool, guys. Don't look at explosions. OD just turns to farming.
Yeah, so OD out of control at this point. Bloodseeker pretty much out of control as well. And they
still bring the items out. Look at the courier. It is so full. Even with the backpack slots, but at it. That's the greatest thing. You mentioned it a moment ago. Just all of this is happening without a lot of the net worth on the court heroes. It's just our level advantage and just a general strength at this stage of the game.
Yeah, they can play kind of as split up as they want at this stage of the game. As we've seen, it's actually pretty easy to TP out from a lot of these ganks, especially if the Ogre... That's the problem. If they go for a smoke, the Ogre has to be in the front. He has to lead with the Fire Blast. It's a low-range stun. They're going to go for the Bristle up top here.
Now there's the follow there from the Clockwork. Hook shot right on the money. Still not the easiest kill in the world with the Bristle back, but yeah, with the stun coming through. He's actually staying alive now. The rest of his team coming in to try and help. Kanglu dropping low to Shrapnel as well. The Assassinate will not quite be enough to bring him down, even with that Abaddon nuke. And China B scrambling to get out of that sticky situation, but Turkmenistan, they want to spill some blood here. They want to get back into this game.
Bloodseeker's en route.
That is Blink Lasso as the Phonic Shield It's already used, but it does still have his ultimate. Oh, no. He tried to go for the sneaky TP out. It easily cancelled, and now with the ultimate, next for an easy kill. 4-21 now, the scoreline. The fight's still going on here. Sniper, that's just Shoito's bounce. Another track kill, looking for more. Jumboli on this Bloodseeker, just running rampant up to a killing spree. Bristleback back up to full health, and it's not something that you can really fight against right now, but they can just settle for the tower push.
The Bloodseeker is just ridiculously fast with the track and the bonus from his passive. And I mean, they took that fight in two different places. We saw the strength of the OD against the Abaddon. He popped his ult relatively early, just trying to TP out. His ult gets completely wasted, his TP gets cancelled, and down he goes. And this net worth lead just continues to grow larger and larger. The Bristle did survive pretty well in that last fight. We can start to see the benefit of the Vanguard and the other survivability that he's been able to build up, but he just can't keep the rest of the lineup, the rest of the China B lineup away from his team. And we could even get to the point where they're just astraling the Bristleback and completely ignoring him and running past and killing the rest of the lineup. So I don't even know if there's any way for the Bristleback to itemize to stop that. It's just kind of the role of his hero in this game.
I mean, you have to buy BKB eventually, right? But even that's not really going to save you if you get ruptured by the Bloodseeker. Like,
yeah, they can just rupture you and then they ignore you. They can just kind of leave you in the fight and run right past. Silencer finally picking up his level 6 now, 20 minutes into the game. I don't know if he didn't get the tome, maybe they gave it to the Ogre instead, something along those lines, but yeah, poor Artrix has really been struggling. And I don't even know how the global is going to be helpful. They can potentially, if you have perfect timing, get it off right before the Batrider uses his lasso after he blinks in, so there's maybe some counter initiation potential there. And also helpful, of course, against the OD, since it is going to disable his Arcane Orb for the duration, but I'm still not sure how powerful the global is going to end up being in these fights. And a lot of that is just the net worth discrepancy.
Well, OD. Well, if this was the Bristleback, that would have been a kill for sure. Well, I guess maybe not the Abaddon either, but he's playing very aggressively, very fast forward once again. They're gonna go, but it is the Abaddon. His ultimate will keep him safe. Sniper though on the other side got picked off by the Bloodseeker. They're pushing this tower and they don't even have the full 5-man lineup to do it with. They don't care. I mean, what is the 25k, almost 1,000 gold advantage per kill if you want to look at it like that. It is almost insurmountable, but as I said, that silencer, that ultimate, that combo breaker could make the difference if China B overextends into that. Don't really have too many things to counter that out just yet. Bounty Hunter, still no Guarding Greaves, no BKBs or anything in the works. Actually, there's one queued up on the Bloodseeker. Okay, they're just going straight in. OD with a big hammer, hookshot to follow, one hero down already. Artrix trying to keep himself alive with the Shrine, but two of his cohorts already end up falling. Maybe Clockwork here with 4 staff away. Out of the shrapnel, he'll be just fine. Howlu and Batrider making their own way out of this one. Another blink forward. Artrix can't even make it to the fountain. Triple kill for Kang Lu of all people as he snipes that with the rocket flare. It looks like it's all over but the crying here. First rack's about to fall. OD just solo zoning Turkmenistan into that fountain. They're not allowed to even reign over their own base anymore.
And if they come any closer, he's just going to blink Hurricane Pike, and then they've got vision from the track, and he can just destroy them. So not a whole lot that they can do. Lane of Rack's down.
And then straight back out again. Now they can get shrines. You can push down the top lane. There's still tier 2 standing there, barely.
Yeah, I mean,
they can also get Roche if they really, really want to.
Yeah, they can really do whatever they want at this stage. They could even farm for OD's BKB if they're feeling even a little bit worried. Bloodseeker also aiming towards a BKB right now, and I think at that point there's just really nothing that Turkmenistan are going to be able to do to turn this game around. If they could get a kill, it would be insanely valuable at this stage, but like we've been harping on about pretty much this entire game, just the lack of lockdown, no real ways to start the fight. Sniper, normally a pretty good high ground defense hero, but as we've seen, China B are just at the point where it doesn't really matter. They can blink past the tier 3s and just go straight on your backlines. So maybe a little bit of a Hail Mary smoke coming out for Turkmenistan as they do make their way over towards their shrine.
that towards the Roche pit here is being gone on now by China B. This could be an opportunity to smoke breaks, so they should figure out what's going on. And well, China B have no idea until Shrapnel comes in. There's a decent amount of damage with the Blood Rager. The 4-star back out is okay. Looking for a silencer. One more Reckless will do the trick, but he gets stunned up. Hero on the back. Oh, just keeping each other apart. There's a defensive imprisonment there actually from the OD. He's isolated from the rest of the team. They will lose the Bristleback, but they're gonna get a big prize. Potentially another self-imprisonment. And now finally, Jumbo Lee, BKB just timing out. There's the Global Silence, but it's not really stopping the Bloodseek. It's just going ham. Triple kill for the OD. Naga kill streak for Jumbo Lee, and that is GG is called. It was the Hail Mary play. The last-ditch effort to try and secure a turnaround. But it was not to be.
I think just a little bit of an outdraft in some ways, trying to be winning their lanes, putting pressure on the sniper, able to get the ball rolling with the Clockwork having an amazing laning stage. They did manage to get that first blood with the sneaky smoke up towards top, kind of scouting out the lanes a little bit, but in the end, Team China B will prevail. So that's only game one though, still another opportunity for Turkmenistan to bring it back in game two of our 2-game series.
Yeah. It was a very, very impressive performance indeed, and can take a look at the stats in a moment, I believe.